Early on Sunday, the 3-1 Packers will be playing the 3-1 Giants in London. Set your alarms now as game time is 8:30 a.m. for anyone in Green Bay or in the Central Time Zone. Welcome to the Packer Mentality Podcast. My name is Patrick Corrigan and I am your host. You can find me on Twitter at Packer Mentality and also on Instagram at Packer Mentality. My podcasts are available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. If you are watching me on YouTube, please help out my channel and subscribe below. I know most of you are not subscribed. Please help me out and do so, and hit the like button. Costs you nothing. So if you don't have time to keep up with all the Packer news, reports, or social media, or you just can't make any sense, let me help you make some sense of that nonsense. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. A big story before this game even starts is who is playing for the Packers and who is not playing for the Giants. New York has a lot of players on the injury report, and the news is generally awful for their offense and not a whole lot better for their defense. Offensively, the Giants' wide receiver room a little sparse this week. Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay, Wan'Dale Robinson are all out, joining Sterling Shepard, who was already placed on injured reserve. Defensively for the Giants, cornerback Cordell Flott is also out for this game. He's joining Aaron Robinson, who was placed on injured reserve this week as well. I do expect these injuries to have a huge effect on how these teams plan for this game and the key matchups during the game. For the Packers, Adrian Amos is questionable as he is still trying to clear the concussion protocols. Fingers crossed for him. Safety Tariq Carpenter and Devontae Wyatt are also questionable. Everyone else is good to go, and yes, that means Jair Alexander is good to go this week. Before I get into the matchups and keys to the game, I believe the biggest key to the Packers on Sunday is to not come out flat. This game is in London. It's a 6-hour time difference for the Packers, only a 3-hour time difference, or only a 3-hour time difference for the Giants. The game's in an unfamiliar stadium, different environment for everybody, but still the same dimensions for a football field. Just come out with intensity, do your jobs, and this should be a win. If you come out flat and you let the Giants punch you in the mouth, it's going to be a long day. So don't do that. Offensively for the Giants, they are critically low on receivers, and you probably won't recognize the names that they do have on the field. Quarterback Daniel Jones, he suffered a sprained ankle last week, and I don't know how mobile he will be. Don't expect him to be terribly involved in the running game with a bum wheel. Davis Webb will be his backup on Sunday, as Tyrod Taylor is also injured. I expect the Giants, with all that in mind, to lean even more on their best player and the strength of this offense. The key matchup for the Packers is to stop Saquon Barkley and the Giants' running game. And I expect the Giants' running game to be Saquon Barkley, Saquon Barkley, Saquon Barkley. And, when that doesn't work, more Saquon Barkley. I'm hoping that this means that the Packers will trust their secondary to cover whoever the Giants run out there at wide receiver, and everyone else sell out to stop the run. As much as Joe Barry may want to sit back in that cover 2 shell as he always does, there is zero reason for him to be doing that this week. There's barely a minimal threat of the Giants even at trying to beat the Packers on a deep throw. Daniel Jones has only 4 pass attempts of over 20 yards all season. And yes, I said attempts, not completions, attempts. And he has even less targets to throw to this week. Giants' offensive line has performed fairly poorly so far this year, but Saquon Barkley is still having a great year. He's come back from his injury. He's now got new offensive coordinator who seems to be using him correctly, and he's definitely thriving in the new system. So this is going to be a big test for the Packers line and linebackers. Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker are going to need to step up their game. Those guys are going to be key to, and will need to have a great game this week. If Adrian Amos is healthy, I expect him to be up near the line, playing in the box or very close to it, and the whole defense should be selling out to stop the run. Trust Eric Stokes, Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas, and Darnell Savage to handle the back end. If the Giants do pass, the Packers' defensive line, along with Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, should be able to apply pressure and get to the quarterback and make Daniel Jones hurry his throws, make bad throws. Now, with the Packers on offense, I don't know if I can pinpoint a key matchup, because if they protect the ball, they should be able to move the ball and have success by ground and by air. This is a below average defense that has played below average competition so far this season. They beat Tennessee in week 1, who at the time was, and honestly is still trying to figure out who their offense is. They beat Carolina, who is trotting out Baker Mayfield and not playing well, and they're just kind of yuck on offense. And they beat the Bears, who might possibly be playing the worst offensive football anyone has seen in a while in the NFL. They did lose to the Cowboys, who were playing their backup quarterback and made him look like the second coming of Troy Aikman. I do expect the Packers to try and run Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon a lot this week to try and wear down the Giants defense. If there isn't a change made on the right side of the offensive line, that unit will have been together now for a couple weeks. Communication should be better, and a lot of the rush should be knocked off both Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins. On the other side of the line, the Giants defensive line, Dexter Lawrence, is having a pretty good year. And they do have their number 1 pick, Kayvon Thibodeau, on the edge. Their defensive coordinator is Wink Martindale. He's a good defensive coordinator. He loves the blitz. I saw a stat the other day that they are blitzing so far this season about 40% of the time, which is super high. But that is what Aaron Rodgers likes. He likes to see you guys coming and find the weakness, find the guys that are open. He's had a couple games to get in sync with his healthy wide receivers, and I expect them to have a big day. He's had Romeo Doubs all season. He's had Randall Cobb all season. He's had Alan Lazard healthy a couple games in a row now. And also Christian Watson now has been healthy for a couple games in a row. I do expect Watson to get some more opportunities, see if they can get him more involved. He's too much of a mismatch for them to not get him the ball. And expectation should be to have good things to say about this unit next week. And speaking of next week, I will have my review of the game up early in the week. Keep an eye out on Tuesday for that. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Packer Mentality on Sunday during the game. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Be safe. Set your alarms so you can watch the game and cheer on the Packers. And go Pack Go.